Is.
Yeah.
I mean, they got me working on the COVID-19 vaccine line at Pfizer. So it's like every regulation you could ever think of. We're wearing masks, we're wearing bunny suits. Just to go in and turn some valves, I gotta like go to the fucking moon, you know?
They've laid off on ours just a little bit, but less than a noticeable amount. We don't have limitations anymore now, but last time I checked, the issues didn't get a lot.
Okay. We went live with the getting started screen. I have the music up real loud. So, I don't know, give me 4 or 5 minutes to play through the song and then we'll go live. And then I'll turn the music down. Right now I've got it so that they can't hear you when you talk. But that means that the music is so loud I'm like screaming into the microphone because it's blowing out my eardrums. Oh, and also, I think firearms are against the TOS for Twitch. So it's fine what you're doing. Like, yeah, you could have the whole thing down there and be messing with it, cleaning it, doing whatever. It's just I probably wouldn't cite it on camera. Like, okay. So 5. If you're good, right? You're good? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey guys. Oh, cool. Turn that music down. We are live. Wait, we should be good.
Are we good?
Yeah, I gotta turn you up a little bit, but I think we're all set with another Team Bad Decisions Lore Linguist. It's on a delay, so I can't hear you on the stream yet. Make sure your audio's okay.
Okay. Well, I will talk quite a bit for the immediate moment.
All right, good. Yeah, you sound good.
And
Okay.
hopefully I do sound good, because I don't sound that good normally.
Okay, so, not that we need a feedback loop, but you're just coming into the audio part. Oh, I'll turn you up a little bit.
Okay.
And I think you'll be even with me. So exactly what you hear me at, you'll hear yourself at. Cool.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Good.
Good.
Wait, that might be a copyright.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. There's so many people. It was like a huge number of Twitch channels. Basically what happened was that it was like not Paramount and then one other big music copyright holder got a free like integrated software where they could like scan multiple channels all at once, like what is that, like Snap Hound or whatever, that Sound Hound, where you hold it up and it'll tell you what song it is.
Okay.
But they found go ahead.
I wondered why Amazon and Apple quit giving out their ID tag.
Yep, they probably sold it to make some money off of it. But
that explains that. So
yeah.
What are we doing today, Brandon?
So this is Team Bad Decisions Lore Linguist. Normally we tackle a lore topic similar to previous episodes of History of Necrons, History of Eldar, History of the Imperium, Space Marines. Ryan was on that last one. Kind of a Horus Heresy touch. But getting that we're so close to 9th edition, rumors have it that, end of July, August, we'll start seeing actual rules and a date coming out. The lore may get turned on its head. So we're going to ride the hype train and kind of go with what everybody wanting to hear right now, which is 9th edition Q&A, the rules changes that have come out already that are real and posted by GW, and how that would change someone new coming into the hobby, how that should influence what they do, what kind of army they build, what kind of troops or not troops they buy for the faction that they like, and kind of move in with that.
I love troops.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. I personally think that since they're moving away from detachments being mandatory and detachments giving you CP and towards detachments actually costing you CP, I personally think troops are a thing of the past. I mean, unless you need them for screens or something.
I can see them having a solid, like back in 6th and 7th edition, having the objective secured rules. I can see them having a place if that's still a thing. But if the objective secured is no longer a thing, I can see them going the way of the dodo or the lemming and going off the cliff.
Yeah, and just for other people, again, if this video will be good for people that are new to 40k, objective secured basically is that if you play with a certain number of objectives on the board, in certain instances, it ranges sometimes 3 to 6 of them. I don't know if I've ever played a game with more than 6.
I don't. 7, I think. There was one like relic plus some weirdo Adepticon.
You're right. So there has been a couple instances of 7 objectives, but on what was a 6-foot by 4-foot table, you'd have 7, quarter-sized markers, and a unit would contest that if you had some of your stuff next to it and your opponent had some of their stuff. It'd basically be a push-pull on who had more. But there was an objective secured rule that said, I don't care how many models my opponent has. As long as he doesn't have objective secured, I control that. One of my guys can take it away from 100 of them if...
Yep. Say you had two hordes of Termagants or Orc Horde. They didn't have objective secured. 5-man Space Marine Scout Squad had objective secured. Suddenly, Scout Squad's there. Hey, we get to score that objective. Yeah. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And now we're going to be turned into biomass or get all our teeth pulled.
Yeah, yeah. And in 9th edition, at least early 8th edition, sorry. In early 8th edition, the games were close. I mean, when everyone was playing with an index and everyone was playing on the same wavelength.
Oh, yeah. Index Hammer was a beautiful time.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, do you think that with 9th edition and them coming out and saying all your codexes are going to be fine and moving into 9th edition, we're going to maintain the existing balance we have and then just move forward with new codexes as they come? Do you think that's beneficial? Do you think those codexes will act like the indexes were? Or do you think that it's not a... Do you think we're already so far down the rabbit hole in 8th edition that it's actually a bad starting point?
I agree with the way they're going right now, but at the same time, I like the way they bounced into 8th. Hey, all your stuff is outdated. Here's your index. I like the way they did that just because it leveled the playing field for those first months of competitive play. Everybody had a chance, given some much better than others. Grey Knights, sorry about your luck. But
hey, they were good for like 4 weeks before the coronavirus. Maybe 3 weeks before the coronavirus hit.
Yeah. But I appreciate that they're not just throwing everything out with 8.59, whatever we're going to call this when we see the rule books. But I definitely appreciate that they're not going back-to-back 2 editions of throwing everything out. Yeah. Especially since the sisters just got their codex after... Hang on, I gotta look at my shelf here. After 6 different editions of the game, they get a new codex, finally. I mean, that would be an absolute kick in the jimmy for... Oh, hey, here's your codex. Welcome to 9th edition. You need to buy a new codex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would sour me after that release. But...
Yeah. And talking about codexes, what do you think about the whole we're going to go move to an app and we'll still sell you books if you want them, but if you buy the book, you get the digital copy for free? And
I am a huge fan of that personally. I love digital copies. I think the Sisters Codex is the only one I don't have a digital copy of right now. I love it, absolutely love it, but I'm interested to see if there's a price bump or what they do with that.
Yeah. I also heard a good tactic that they could use from GW, and this is a rumor. The stuff we talked about previously was release stuff, but the rumor is that at GW events, the TOs will have special logins that will give them access to every codex and all the supplements, so that if they're ever asked to respond to a problem at a table, they will have access on their phones to...
They'll just have a master copy, pretty much, of... Now, that would be an interesting point. If GW's looking to... I don't think they're looking to supplant the ITC and competition events. Could be wrong. Hope I'm not. The ITC.
They did just pick up that guy that runs Nova. Like, the guy who runs Nova is helping them make missions. So, like, if you're going to make moves like Amazon, where you're just buying up some of your competition's biggest rivals and the biggest heads in the arguably the biggest heads in the field, like you're making moves to be
Yeah.
more legitimate.
Well, and I'm not gonna say anything against GW's history in running tournaments. In the early '90s, they did a great job, but that was also 30 years ago, and everything's come a really long way. ITC's been the movers and the shakers in that department, along with Mags and a couple other offs, not offset groups, but a couple other groups. They're all moving and shaking to make it a better tournament circuit. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Competition breeds innovation. I love it. Just love it. Hate to sound like the orange guy with a wig, but I love it.
It's huge.
Oh, so huge.
Yeah. So okay, so I also think that 2 thumbs up on the app. I think it's going to be
Yes.
easy to.
Yeah, sorry, kind of.
No, you're good. You're good. This is what this whole show's about. It's not about competitive or sticking to the numbers, but yeah, the app, great. I think it'll be great to just carry around your phone that you have on you anyway, or a tablet.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got all of it there. I think standardizing what a list looks like, so that
Yes,
when
that would. Well, and I think at this point, anybody who's been to enough tournaments, if we see a handwritten list, we look at it cross-eyed. Because so many of us are used to looking at battle scribe printouts or the bullet pointed format that ITC went to. I think that was ETC format,
yeah, something like that.
but oh, watch it.
Yeah,
Catch
sorry.
flies with that thing.
Yeah, my bad.
Um, I I'm not against GW standardizing everything in their system, but at the same time, let's. I guess I'd like to see them run a couple of tournaments before they try to take over the world.
Yeah, yeah. Now, getting into the kind of like meat and potatoes of today's show, of if you're going to start a new army in ninth, if you're new to 40K, where, or if someone was new to 40K, where would you push them? Like, what would you tell them to do straight off the video game boat? They don't own an army, they don't know how to paint a model, they just saw something, they thought it was cool, and they want in.
Okay.
How would you?
Well, and if that's the case, I would probably point them towards Kill Team initially, so they can dip their toe and get an idea, see if they're up to the task of modeling an entire army, let alone assembling and painting, but modeling. I would definitely push them towards Kill Team initially, but if they're into it whole hog, grab the starter box. It's always a great place to start. If not, I'm sure GW is going to have a rule set available online for free, just a base rule set.
Yeah,
Check that out. That's always a good place to start.
I think that's confirmed, is that the base rules is free with the app.
Okay. And I think, I can't remember where it was, but I think I heard there was going to be a monthly subscription for the app.
I think it was yearly. I mean, you can
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't
Well,
much.
Who knows?
It was like, I think I paid $1.99 for the Age of Sigmar one a
Okay.
month, so it was like $12 or $14 a year.
Yeah, and I think
Wasn't
I
bad.
donated twice that to Battle Scribe last year just for, hey, cool, it's here. Hey, thanks for the work.
Yeah, yeah.
Here, let me throw you a couple of shekels.
I also like the idea that with the app they have more control over like on the fly fixes when they make mistakes.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that scares, well, old, what's the word? prepper.
Doomsday prepper, like tinfoil hat.
The alertist or alarmist me.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see the permissions list on their app, because I want to know if they're looking or they're keeping track of lists that are being built, and because I think that would be a pretty interesting
Yeah,
way
I
for
think
them to get a good draw on what everyone's thinking or what people are doing.
yeah, and I think that they're kind of already doing like I mean that allows them to do it much easier when they have an app that everyone's putting their stuff in. But it was that Rule of Three ban came out immediately after everyone brought 7 flying hive tyrants to Adepticon.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, that was a fun year.
yeah, and like 13 mortar squads and as
Oh, come
many
on,
Tau
you can't
commanders.
handle that much indirect fire?
Yeah, it was just yeah. And then so I think GW already has their finger, or trying to at least have their finger
Yeah.
on the pulse. But
Yeah.
even looking at the starter box, I think it's pretty evident, at least to me, that GW wants to go in a more melee oriented direction with Ninth Edition.
Yeah. I am definitely not against a melee oriented edition. I love Space Wolves. So, I mean, we do a little bit of the shooty, we do the stabby, we have a good day.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see what we end up with here in the soon to be short term, and I think once we do see the rules confirmed, that it'll be a definite rude awakening for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even what's coming out already, like the big winners, I think vehicles and monsters are huge winners for what's been released so far. The idea that the heavy weapons -1 to hit only applies to infantry now.
Yes, that will be huge. God, there I go again. That'll be giant.
Huge. It'd be huge. Which I think. Sorry,
can you
go
tell
ahead.
I've been watching too much news lately?
Yeah. Everyone's been watching a little too much news, but I think other big winners for the not getting -1s to hit from moving and firing, Eldar jet bikes are back.
Yeah.
Scatter lasers are heavy weapons, and now the bike is not, just like Space Marine bikes.
Well, don't the bikes still have the infantry keyword?
No, they're bike. They're just like
that's right. They're cavalry. Cavalry.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So,
yeah, I'm very interested to see how that hashes out.
Yeah, it'll be a thing, definitely. And what's the other? So vehicles, things with the vehicle keyword. So not bikes. Moving away from bikes, but like
You mean the Bane blade that took 2 termagants to keep it from firing?
yeah. So Bane blades were always able to fire some of their weapons when locked in close combat, but now they'll be
I think
able.
it was what, the sponsons, and yeah. So they're going to be extremely nasty, and I personally can't wait to field my Redeemer Land Raider again. I've always had a love for that thing. I don't know why. You would think I was a salamander as much as I love that tank. I'm not. I'm a wolf.
Now that the Redeemer is the one with double heavy flamers on each side, right?
Nope. It is not a double flamer. It is, they call it the Firestorm Flame Cannon. It's a single flamer. Pretty much remember the, great, now I'm blanking on the rule. The, Chaos Flying Chickens used to have it.
Oh, the Helldrakes, the Bale Flamers?
Yep, how they could fling the flamer template 18 inches
and then turn it however they wanted.
Yep. Pretty much this is the update on that, and it's just an 18-inch range flamer. Or no, I think it's 14 now. But it's a ridiculous, it's like strength 6 AP 2 or 3, and
Is that the center cannon, or is that both the sponsons?
that's the sponsons. The center on
Okay.
that one is a twin-linked assault cannon. So I mean, it puts out some weight of fire one way or another. And I want to say that flamer was like 2 or 3 d6 number of shots. So
Which
I
is,
mean, it wasn't insignificant.
yeah, it might be. I mean, that may be the thing, because say it like worst case scenario, it's 2d6. There's two of them, and flamers. I suspect flamers are going to have the blast keyword. Were you familiar with that new blast keyword?
I didn't see all the write-up on it, but I know that they were talking about bringing blast templates back, which, again, a big fan.
So they released the official ruling on it, and
Okay.
There's no templates that are coming back, but there will be weapons that they're going to give the blast keyword to, just like heavy or assault. If the target firing unit is between 11 and 14 models, the minimum on the d6 rolled is 3 with a blast weapon, and if it's higher than 14 models, the minimum, you just take the maximum value of the d6 rolled.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't know if I'm quite as jazzed about that now that I hear it. I can see grenades and frag missiles having a
they
bit better place now.
they confirmed both of those, that a grenade is, if a orc squad charges you with 30 boys, your grenade is 6 hits.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, like, your Redeemer tank that's firing 24, or if a squad of 30 orcs charged it, you're auto hitting 24 times with that flamers.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Or just say they're not even charging it. You just roll your tank up there. It's a 30-man squad. Your flamers are auto hitting 24 times.
Yeah. And if I charge him, that's got the frag assault launchers too. So I wonder if those will be getting the blast keyword as well, because that would be ridiculous.
GW only mentioned 6 different weapons. They said, oh, this is a little flavor of what would get blast. That D weapons are getting blast for the Eldar. The squig launcher is for the orcs. They mentioned a frag and crack grenade, but I think that it will, in my opinion, it will translate to the missiles, like you said, the flamer, a lot of different weapons. So they also clarified, did you hear about the vehicles being able to shoot in combat rule for 9th?
I didn't hear the clarification on it. I know they were talking about it, so...
Okay, so there's going to be a little bit more of a slowdown in how competitively you're going to try and want to do this, but they said that anything with the vehicle or monster keyword, so big bug Tyranids is kind of coming back as a thing, but anything with a vehicle or monster keyword can fire all of their non-blast weapons in close combat at the thing that they're in close combat with, but you resolve the guns one at a time, and as soon as you are no longer in close combat, you could fire normally.
Okay, so pretty much, say the Land Raider Redeemers in Assault, and the Assault Cannons are what? Or the Twin Links, what? 2d6 or
I think the
4d6 number of shots?
The Assault Cannons are a flat 3 or a flat 6, so a twin is going to be 6 shots or 12. I think it's 12.
Okay.
I think you got flat 12 shots out of that.
So pretty much after I gun down the first 9 that are in base contact, I can move on to the blast weapons and continue.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So not so bad. Mixed bag, but
you do get a -1 to hit penalty when firing at things you're in close combat with, as a vehicle though, which isn't terrible.
I can see that.
Especially flamers ignore that. So your Land Raider that's shooting those redemptive flame cannon things on the side, they're going to ignore the -1 to hit penalty anyway.
Okay.
And I think it'll be good. I think it's a nice push given that they're making the table smaller, which is huge.
Yeah, I'm a little upset about that after I just got done building my 4x6 in the garage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can see people's upset. You're perfectly valid in your opinion on that. But at least they didn't make it bigger. Like, if they made it bigger, then people are going to have to, like, strap another piece to their table. At least smaller, it gives you extra room.
Yeah. If they made it bigger, I think a lot more people would be upset about bigger than smaller.
Yeah, and I won't hate the fact that my games are going faster.
Yeah, that's from coming into this edition, and we're gonna trim the fat and make it easier to get a quick game in with one book. How many books did you need last game you played?
Yeah, 3 or 4. It got pretty bloated towards the end of 8th, but I mean, time's flying, man. 8th edition has been out for 3 years. Yeah. For a while now. So it's had time to accumulate its bloat.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good for it. Where was I going to go with this? Is that... So everything also came out that they didn't give specific numbers on anything but 2 units, but most things they say is going to get up between an 18 and 25% points bump up.
Okay. So that would put a Grot up to 4 points and a Guardsman up to 5, maybe 6.
Yep. Cultists, they printed Cultists at 6 points officially base.
Oh man.
It's either 5 or 6, and then an Intercessor Space Marine at 24.
Oh, right in the jimmy. I'm glad I've only got 10 of them.
Now, this says the reason, and I agree with their reasoning, but that with everything pretty much across the board getting a points boost, not only are your armies going to be smaller and harder to like make an all-comers list, but it will give them a more granular scale to make changes and fixes. It was they mentioned that like when they tried to fix the cultist at the beginning of 8th edition, they only had 4 points to work with. So putting up to the 5 points they said was too rough of a debuff.
I don't know. I think Chaos at that point kind of needed a kick in the huevos to bring them back down.
Yeah. I mean, many people share your sentiment, but I think it's going to be a universal bump to a lot of people. And hey, Nurgle Matt, how's it going?
What's up, Matty?
We're talking about 9th edition Q&A, big drops, and then kind of like how if you're going to start an army or get a new people, because it stemmed from an employee that works with me today asked, hey, I'm interested in 40K. You talk about it a lot because you're into it. How would I get started?
Sounds like an infection.
So it made me think, like, initially I was telling them, well, wait. That's the first thing you can do right now in 40K. I wouldn't start anything until you look at the lore, you look at what armies you like and what armies you don't like, and you do some research before you dive in. And especially with 9th edition being right around the corner. Oh, thanks for the 2 gifted subs, Matt. You're awesome as always. So 2 tier 1 subs go out to Toyby and DBQ2222. But yeah, coming into 9th edition, I wouldn't want to tell my friend who's interested in getting into Warhammer 40K for the first time, oh yeah, just buy Space Marines. go buy because if you wanted to buy a starter box now, he'd be buying the Dark Imperium box. Like he'd be buying.
He might be able to find the Space Wolf box somewhere.
Ooh, yeah, maybe. But what he'd start with is stuff
Trash.
that's like not even remotely in the direction in which they think, or where I think their GW's trying to push 9th edition. So, like, for you, Ryan, if you had to start a new army, and what would you go out and buy, and why? Given that now that you know some stuff about 9th edition and the rules, like, where would you go with it?
I think for me right now, I've got the Harlequin sitting around that I've had forever. I've got the little bit of Eldar Forge World stuff that I've had sitting around for months, that it was one of those buy it now or lose it forever. And I will probably continue to build on the Eldar, just because the stuff I've got I have not seen used except in very minimal games at large events. I think that Link's super heavy tank that I've got, I think I've only ever seen one, and you and I played against it back in 7th.
Yeah.
And nobody's got them. I'm sure when the Forge World rules get revisited here going into 9th, I'm sure they'll be trash. But you know what? It'll be my trash, and I love it.
Yeah, and this goes... sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just a quick, before we go back to Ryan, these questions go out to chat too. So, Nurgle Matt or anybody else watching us, feel free to post what you guys are thinking about making or how you would start in 9th edition, because your posts are... Your views are just as valid as ours when it comes to how you think or what rules 9th edition is going to change about the game. We did talk a little bit about stuff that was already published, so rules that we know are coming into effect. But yeah, so what about the stuff that you have with the links and the Eldar? What do you think about 9th edition's actually going to benefit those things? Because I think that Vehicle Eldar is probably one of the worst hit by the 9th edition changes and rules.
Worst hit or worst to benefit in 9th? Or you mean the 8th edition rules?
I think that in 9th edition, with the hit and wound modifiers being capped, and we haven't seen the official ruling on what terrain is supposed to be, but they did say that they're going to standardize terrain. It'll be like, I think what we can look at is Age of Sigmar, where like a blessed piece of terrain has a very specific rule. A deadly piece of terrain has a very specific rule. So I think they're going to go back to ruins do this, and they block line of sight like this, and there's no longer a gray area. If you say that's a ruin, then that's a ruin, and that's what it does, which will be refreshing. But
yeah, that'll be nice. No more first level blocks the left eye, and they can't see what you're doing in 5 foot.
And no more hopefully no more I can see the antenna off the top of your thing.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of pretty heavily modified flyers that I absolutely love. Trying to hide a flyer is a massive pain in the butt anywhere you go. And, when I know I'm out of range and they're nitpicking, well, I can see that corner of the wing, the one little tip there. Come on, dude.
Oh, did you see that flyers can leave the battlefield and come back now?
I'm so happy about that. I love it. I am going to have so many strafing runs. Just let's go. And I hope that they fix the Tau Oh shoot, the Tau Flyer Manta or whatever it was that was flying on, dropping the gun drones, leaving and coming back.
Oh, yeah. So that would have to get fixed with the rule that they have that if it leaves and comes back, it doesn't replenish the drones.
Yeah.
Drones are already a problem.
Yeah, well, I I've had my fill of drones for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, but
This edition really soured me to them. And
yeah.
I mean, if I ever want to have all my opponents dislike me for the rest of eternity, I'll just bring a drone list.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit on what we would want to see to fix that. Um and I think that if they made the drones only usable, like they made them like unit upgrades.
Yeah.
So if you bought a drone for a infantry squad, it's usable for that infantry squad.
Yeah.
And you're not just buying 100 drones and then using them for the same 3 Riptides.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. It's a little bit more bookkeeping, but
Well,
I mean,
and I mean that's no different than when I had to paint squad markings on all my drop pods because people were being goofs about that. Well, how do I know that's it? Dude, really? It's a drop pod. It lands, people get out.
yeah.
What's it gonna do?
That being said, though, they also did you see the? I keep asking if you see these rules, but the reserve rules.
Not entirely. I remember I was playing a game Monday and my opponent's been keeping up on it, which is odd because he doesn't really know how to use a computer. So I'm curious what voodoo he's using to get all this information.
He hacked some sort of British mailing list, and GW's just directly mailing him his updates.
He's been getting small boxes from Nottingham that are just lists of notes taken on the new edition.
But
pardon me, I got to go pay this guy a visit real quick.
but yeah, so it sounds like reserves. You're gonna pay CP to put units in reserves, like it is what it is, and on turn 1, your reserves can come in on your deployment zone edge.
Oh yes, I remembered.
Yeah. Turn 2, they come in off the sides, the 2 no man's land sides, and turn 3, they could come in off your opponent's backfield edge.
Yep, that will. And with smaller armies and everything, I am really interested to see how this works. And if I remember right, wasn't the old ITC ruling that getting board wiped isn't the end of the game anymore?
Yeah, I think you can null deploy. I think in these new rules you can deploy with nothing, and it's a valid tactic.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg, CP wise, but possible.
Yeah. But I'm curious. I'm curious to see how that works out. I'm a huge fan of it. I've always been a fan of outflanking, especially on short edge deployments, because you can cut so much travel time just outflanking. You can kill 2 turns of movement on the second turn right there.
Yeah.
So,
like, I'm just salivating a little bit. They standardize CPs based on army size.
yeah.
So if my knights go up, 25% each, I'm probably only bringing 3 knights, maybe some small knights to a list.
I would, because your knight list is what, 3 or 4 big and 4 small right now?
Yeah, it's 4 big, 4 small. But I use Gallants, so I use the least expensive knight of the big ones.
Typical knight list player. Jeez. I wouldn't be against it, but I would probably I would probably cut the little guys in favor of the big guys on that, but that's me. We'll have to see how the numbers hash out.
Yeah. So I think the power is in the little guys. I think that just having more board presence, more people on the board, and that like neither one of their weapons I think will of the little guys will get the blast keyword. But if any weapons that the little guys get access to do get the blast keyword, I think it's over. I think you just take little guys all day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean like I said, we'll have to see how it all hashes out. I'm can't say as I'm as stoked for 9th edition as I was 8th edition, but I am definitely I'm looking forward to it. We can see some things here that, well, who knows? We may never recover from it. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. So, but like getting onto the point of that though is that I got 12 CPs to use with, I don't know, if I just use Big Knights, it works. The example works a little better, but just use Big Knights, 12 CPs. I could easily hide them, put them all in reserve, just 4 units in reserve, and then they all come in off the board edge on. I mean, the downside is I'm giving my opponents like
ton of time to grab objectives and
100%
grab board corners and hold the line and outflank. Well, not outflank, but do what they're going to do in the meantime while you're out watering the grass there.
Yeah. So, like, armies that can move fast in objective-based games will do well against armies that null deploy like that because they'll be able to spread out. I'd be real worried because if you're playing against orcs, they could de-jump a unit, and then you're going to get that cheeky guy that puts one guy 2-inch space, one guy 2-inch space, one guy along the whole border.
You mean the old White Scar tactic from forever ago?
Yeah, so they could, I think, with a 30-man
mess with your day, but can't knights move over infantry?
They could fall back over infantry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they can't move over infantry.
Is that this edition or coming soon?
This edition.
Okay, so I mean they may be able to get around that, but I mean you're looking at how many? Because the new board side's what, 60 by, not 60 by 40.
They cut a foot off one end and then they cut like 4 inches off the other.
Okay, so 44 and 50, 58.
Yeah, something along those lines.
So I mean, how many models at Coherency? You're the math genius out of the two of us.
Well, let's just say like your model is an inch wide, so it's 3 inches every segment of a model's base and a 2 inches in between. So 30 models is like 90 inches.
Okay.
So in a line that would be across the long edge and then turning halfway down the short edge. And then really you have like your whole army along the other long edge.
Yep. So you'd need 3 units and you'd have to get one the full width or length of the field to be able to pull off a full table block.
Yeah. And I don't think it would be that hard. It would be nearly like it wouldn't be hard at all if they went first. Then you blocked off their table edge, which is the only edge they can go on turn 1.
Yeah.
So you block their table edge turn 1, and you spread out, and then turn 2 you block the 2 sides, and then they're not on turn 2 either, they're turn 2. And
Yep.
turn 3, either you're a real dick and you block all of it for the rest of the game and then hold one objective and win, or you let them on slowly from one spot and then just know you're going to win
gun 'em
on
down.
Yeah.
I think too, the only problem I see with that's contingent on somebody having a lot of models.
Yeah.
So I mean, Tyranids, Orcs, Eldar might be able to do it.
Not
if
with the
they
points
take a lot of
increase.
Guardians.
No, Guardians, they're probably going to go up to like 8 to 10 points a Guardian. You know how useless that is?
Yeah, but I mean, I think the biggest reason Guardians keep getting the trash hammer is people aren't using them right.
I think Guardians, they're going to be great at serving burgers at McDonald's from here on out, because if I don't need them to...
They do have their lib arts degree.
Yeah, if I don't need them to fill out detachments anymore, it's just going to be...
That's true.
I'm going to get my 3 Dark Reaper squads. I'm going to get my, like, everything big. The Eldar missile launchers have blast. Okay, I'm going to take everything that has that. I'm going to take those D-cannon battery, like the
support weapon batteries.
Support weapon batteries, 100%. If they have blast, the more so. I will use the vibro cannons on them because they get the D6 shots instead of the D3 for the D cannons.
Yep.
I love those Hemlock Wraithfighter planes. I think they would be the best addition to your Eldar army. If you thought you were going to grow your Eldar army at all, those Wraithfighter planes, I'm all about it. Now, they're going to get hit because they can't...
Well, yeah, they're a big target.
Yeah, and they can't stack, like, Eldar armies, and why I think the vehicles for 9th edition, from the Eldar standpoint, are going to get hit real bad, is because they can't stack the multi-negatives to hit anymore in order to try and keep them safe. They don't have the toughness of a Space Marine vehicle or an Imperium vehicle, so things are going to wound them easier. And without the extra minuses to hit, then things are going to go like paper. It's going to go right through them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how everything hashes out. Because, I mean, I'm trying to think how to word this. I'm a big fan of the Eldar vehicles that are Forge World. Because the majority of those all have the fly keyword. And they're they are all not limited to quite the normal movement restrictions.
Gotcha. So what about the alternative movement restrictions? Like, do you think you want an army that'll like float around the board when it gets touched, or like, what draws you to that?
For me, I mean, still, it's a lot of the uniqueness of the units is the big thing for me that is really drawn me to the Eldar.
Gotcha.
Just because I've got models that nobody else has. My big draw at the moment.
And there's something to be said for that. Like, if that's what you enjoy, that's what you enjoy. There's nothing wrong. Your fun's not wrong. And then going on to, like, okay, so flipping it back, what would I what would I tell someone to buy if they're going to start in 9th edition?
Yeah, I'd say, again, rules, get the base rule book, see if you can wrap your head around it. Start, I mean, majority of us, I don't know about you, when I started playing 40K, I think I had some Warzone models, which is a game that's way out of date and hasn't been made forever. I think that was one of the predecessors to Warmahordes. And I had some Warzone models, and I would use those models to play with just because it's what I had, and I was a 12-year-old kid that didn't have money for models.
Yeah, I also think this new edition with the changes to CPs and the changes to how you build a list and the changes to everything, like in all the previous editions I've played, like going back to like fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and even eighth,
Mm-hmm.
if someone asked me how would I start an army, I would say you need 2 troop choices and an HQ.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think that'll be as applicable now.
no, not at all. I think
Because
that
I mean, yeah, if you think Stalker, Space Marine Stalker tanks are cool, all right, you're probably gonna need 2 of them and an HQ.
yeah, 100%. I think in ninth edition, and this is kind of the point I was trying to allude to, and I'm so glad that you got there even before I spent 10,000 words to get there, is that I would just tell them, what model do you like? What model
Yep.
do you think looks cool? What model do you think has cool rules? And build an army around that. Like,
Yeah.
and you could find, and you could probably make that work to some extent, no matter
Well,
what
I
it
mean,
is.
we've all seen the Morty Magnus in a couple of Knights lists. I mean, I've never gotten the joy of playing against one. I think I was supposed to play one at Adepticon this year, but I'm a big fan of just cool models. I mean, for Pete's sake, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 dreadnoughts sitting on my completed shelf. I'm looking at one right here that needs some repair, and I'm sure, well, no, and then I got another Forge World one that's unbuilt right here. It's, for me, a lot of 40Ks about what's my favorite model. What do I want to do? What do I want to play? How do I want to play?
That'd be actually a pretty interesting thoughts experiment. Like, for instance, what is your favorite model? Like, if you had to just pick a model in 40K, what is it? Or
Current model or
could I guess? Could I take a guess and then you tell me what?
oh, go ahead.
So, is your favorite model that?
I spy with my little eye.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark. It's the. Oh, now I'm second guessing myself, but the Bjorn the Space Wolf Dreadnought, is he the shield and the claw? Is that your favorite model?
Nope.
Oh, the damn.
The Forge World Cestius Assault Ram.
I would never have guessed that giant pie
Yep.
symbol in the air is.
Oh yeah. That is my favorite model. I still do not own one.
That is the giant like U shape, right?
Okay. For illustration purposes,
Oh yeah, it's the one that looks like two of
here
those.
are 2 of the Space Wolf flyers. Put them together like that, with a big cockpit in the middle.
Gotcha.
Welcome to the Cestius Assault Ram.
Now, it's very fitting lore-wise that Space Marines would say, like, what's the best thing we could do to fight other Xenos flyers? Well, let's just put a bunch of armor on the front of this thing and run it into things.
Well, I mean, it's no different than a boarding torpedo.
Right, very true.
Just somebody's actively steering it.
Yeah, the Space Marines have always been about, like, let's just launch ourselves as fast as we can at the problem, and we'll just figure it out when we get there. But yeah,
Drop
okay.
pods, same thing.
So with your Cestius Assault Ram, how would you build an army around that for 9th edition? Because we kind of talked about. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
If I was going to build an army around that model, because I am not sure how many points it is this edition. I want to say it's close to 400.
Yeah, it's up there.
And it does not have much in the way of weaponry.
No, it's. I wouldn't say it's very point effective.
No, not at all. And I don't think it's a transport, and I don't think it transports more models than a drop pod does.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Cool factor is way up there.
Yeah, I think you would. It'd be a real cool conversion project.
Oh, definitely. And actually, I'm pretty sure I could build one right now because I think I've got 2 more of the Space Wolf flyer kits floating around.
Yeah. Would you do
But
it for the Space Wolves?
oh, definitely, definitely. They're the only Marine faction that I own right now. I've got. No, I take that back. I've got like the Dark Imperium kit worth of Dark Angels,
Yeah.
and maybe a Scout Squad that I needed to fill them out for a game somewhere.
Yeah.
But if I did build it, just going off cool factor alone, I'd have to say the Cestius and you know what? Let's shoot the works. We'll do a Cestius. We'll do a now a Mastodon too. Let's just blow the whole credit card at GW.
So the Mastodon's that giant like
Yep,
tank thing, right? The droller.
Yep, that can transport like 40 troops and 2 dreadnoughts, and you know, let's just shoot the works. I got a credit card that I can blow the limit on.
Yeah, so like Space Marines. So you're stacking these with probably like near or damn near 1,000 points of transport.
Yep.
What are you putting in there to fill out your 2,000 points? What are you filling out?
At that point, I think I'm going to be down to scouts just so I can have the cool factor.
And just an angry beehive of Mastodon.
Can we get neophytes?
Yeah, for Space Marines, they don't have really cheap troop choices to try and fill out that kind of stuff.
No, not at all. I don't know. If I did the Cestius, it would probably be a very, very heavily assault-focused army. Probably drop pods with a couple of Land Raiders or something.
Yeah.
Or not Land Raiders, Razorbacks, just to give me a little bit of armor on the ground.
And it's not long until I think, personally, again, this fact is not one that's been corroborated by GW yet, but we're not too far off from seeing a Primaris drop pod. Because we just saw Primaris bikes.
Yeah, but I don't know if they'll do the Primaris drop pod. That, when they really tried playing around with the drop pods in 7th, that with the whole, well, I won't say the whole, with the initial formation hubbub that they did, and free transports. Well, I just took a bunch of drop pods because I already had the models, but I think the drop pods are kind of going the way of the dodo.
Yeah, I think normal ones definitely are. I think GW is trying to push that out. Now, we just got a thing in from chat asking about Necrons. So, how would you start Necrons? Just ignore that.
Yeah. I would definitely go with, and I mean, from what I've seen, the Necron general build hasn't changed much. It's still going to be warriors. It's still going to be, I can't remember, what's their HQ called? A Viziarch or a Ultrarch or...
So there's an Overlord.
Or something.
There's an Overlord, and then there's a regular Lord, and then there's the Cryptek, which is
and an Underlord.
Who knows? There's the Silent King, which is gonna, I think, get a model. Now
Finally.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool, pretty sweet lore-based model to come out.
Yeah.
And there's a new model with Blackstone. It looks like they're changing up some of how the spider mechanics work. And the Blackstone, there was leaked rumors that it's going to allow the Necrons to have a deny for the psychic phase, and it's going to give other psychic, like other casters, a negative to their dice rolls for casting.
Okay.
But,
so
go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I just don't think that's enough. I don't think that. I think the people that are going to do a lot of psychic stuff don't really care if they're at -1 to cast their 12 smites on 5s. You know, like, it's not. You may stop a single smite, but that's not going to be a big deal. I
Yeah.
think the new destroyers, those Synaptep destroyers, the
Yeah,
three-legged
those.
ones with the three different melee variations.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
again, cool factor. The Ghost Arcs. I'm still a big fan of hugely overpriced transport.
yeah. But I mean, the Ghost Arcs, while you're correct, they are hugely overpriced transports. For transports, they do give that extra reanimation protocol. At least in Eighth
Yep.
Edition, they do, and they do give they have that quantum shielding
Hmm.
against heavy damaged weapons.
Okay.
So that if the weapons damage, if the average damage of weapons keeps going up,
Yeah,
quantum
that'll be
shielding
big.
gets better as our stuff goes on. So
Hmm.
if we start seeing damage 3, damage 4 weapons
Oh,
coming out as normal, then quantum shielding would be great.
well, and that would bite Hero Hammer in the butt.
Yeah. Yeah. Hero Hammer's kind of the direction it has been going in 8th edition with the character rules to hide characters and with the just the power level that they're putting into singular characters, their auras and their psychic powers.
Hmm.
I think that's going to be a big deal. I think it also Hero Hammer baits into the other change that we haven't talked about for 9th edition and what it would be to kind of form an army is that you're going to get an extra CP per turn on each player turn, so 2 CPs
Hmm.
per game turn. And I think that like the new stratagems that are coming out, like if you looked, did you see that there's a 0 point stratagem for
No,
AdMech and for wolves?
no, not yet.
Yeah, so the 0 CP stratagem for Space Wolves is that if a character kills a character for 0 CPs, you roll a d3 and get that many command points back.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's interesting.
yep, and then the AdMech one for 0 CPs is that if one of their vehicles die, they don't have to roll to explode. They just everyone gets out like normal.
Okay.
You don't have to like see if they die or not, which is
All right.
interesting. Like at first thought I'm like, well, why didn't they just make that a vehicle rule? Like
Mm,
the vehicle could just not explode and people could get out. But the difference and the big difference in that being a 0 point stratagem and it being an actual rule for the vehicle is that if you can kill more than one vehicle a turn,
hmm.
then they can't use that stratagem more than once.
Okay.
So you can kill more than one and then cause the subsequent ones to have to do that. Same thing with it's the Space Wolf one's real situational. Like you need your character to kill their character, so I don't see that happening more than once per turn,
Yeah.
unless you bring only characters and you're just going character hunting. But
Well, I mean, that's a possibility. I can't remember at some point I looked at it. I think in this edition, Space Wolves have like 9 characters,
yeah, with the
and that's
25% point bump,
two dreadnoughts.
that's
So I
probably
mean, I could fill out 2,000 points with just characters
yeah,
pretty easily.
probably it's pretty decent to say, pretty big points buff. Now
Yeah. Oh yeah.
now, do you think now that ninth edition is standardizing that 12 CPs is 2,000 points, and that it's not until you get to 2,000 points that you get 12 CPs? Do you think people in tournaments that were doing 1850 before are going to stay at 1850? Because 1850 points worth of models is like 6 CP level, and that's almost nothing. When you gotta figure that you gotta buy all your pregame stratagems, you have to
Hmm.
buy your extra detachments, and you have to buy your reserves.
Well, and think of it this way. Think about how much more tactical that game would be.
I mean, that's true. That's
Because I mean that definitely sounds more to my flavor of a game. Because okay, well, we're almost at that point where we can. I used to read comics, and I remember at one of the Avengers comics, and this was 10, 15 years ago now. Nick Fury said to somebody, "Well, we couldn't afford to bring in Iron Man and his 100-man support team for this job," and that's kind of the same thing. You get this is the point level you're at, and you're working with this much stuff. This is all the support we can give you. So I think people coming from that 1850 range that get used to playing that and come into the 2000 point range, you think about it with a 25% points bump going from 1850 to 2000, that might be one squad or just a lot of war gear on all your squads, and you get 6 more CP.
Yeah, I think the
So
CP bump's the big one. Yeah.
yeah, I would encourage, if you're looking at that, get used to playing at 1850.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
then
yeah, from a
pull
TO
up for
perspective,
2000.
I might wanna. I think you've convinced me. I may wanna write some of the missions I move forward with at the 1850 level, knowing that you're only gonna get 6 CP.
There's a thought.
Yeah, because that'd be 6 CP would really make someone have to think about if they're gonna put something in reserves or not, or if they're
Yeah.
going to get. If you're gonna
I'm
bring.
not going to vect you on your 1 dice reroll and
Yeah.
use up 2/3 of my CP on one hit that doesn't mean nothing, or it could mean a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It makes each one a little more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as that doesn't open somebody, like I'm not smart enough to know the one loophole someone's gonna go to. Like when I think it was the second Michigan GT I went to for 8th edition, where some guy's like, "Oh, I brought 3 different battalions. One is a Space Marine, one's an AdMech, one's a
And
Imperial Guard."
had the
They farmed
regenerate CP.
every time he used one. He got 3 different rolls. One's on a 5, 2 different ones on a 6 to try and get it back.
Yeah. So for every CP he was using, he could stand to gain back 3.
Yeah, he could gain back 3, and he almost always at least got back the 1 he spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was gross. But I did, play a huge trick on that dude. That was the one where the lakes added 1 to your save value.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what your save was. And that was including invul saves. So I had a squad of 9 Zoanthrope sitting in the middle of that lake with a 2-up invul save, just throwing out smites.
Yeah. I still think, I wish they hadn't have gotten rid of those rules, because I really had a lot of fun with their lake rules. But they were all very situational.
Yeah, and I think that at least from the Michigan GT's perspective, that GW, sorry, my brain moved faster than my lips, but GW did the work for them. They're going to come out with rules for terrain that will encompass whatever they put on the field. So
I
think that'll be helpful. So we talked about kind of armies that we'd build in 9th, how we'd start in 9th, rules that came out in 9th. What are you actually doing for like what are you working on now model wise for 9th edition? Now that it's coming up, like, is it still Eldar stuff?
Yep. I was thinking on getting a couple of boxes of Guardians, but I think after our earlier conversation, you scared me away from that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No, thank you. I think that there's a couple models in the Eldar range that are sorely lacking. I think that the only choice right now that is worse than regular Guardians is if you told me that you wanted to buy Storm Guardians or Howling Banshees, both of which I would steer you in any other direction. There's some floating around in the mediocre, but
Yeah.
um,
I'd probably, and you'll kick me again. I'd probably aim for Fire Dragons
not bad.
just
Not a bad
because,
choice.
and Fire Dragons, Dire Avengers, and Shining Spears.
Yep. The Fire Dragons, not a bad choice. I think that given that armies are getting smaller, that the one key big expensive thing is going to be better to like drop down, come out of the warp, blow it up with a bunch of Melta. Like that'll be more valuable. So Fire Dragons may go up in their usefulness.
Mm-hmm.
The Dire Avengers,
Meh,
yeah,
they're overpriced Guardians.
yeah, but they're thank you, I'm Fat Lad. I'm Fat Lad for the follow. We're all a little fat. Don't feel bad, Fat Lad. But
Keep
the
being fat.
but the Dire Avengers, they fix a little bit of what the Guardians have, which the Guardians guns are 12-inch range, which when you're only toughness 3 and you have like a 4
Yeah.
up save, I think it might be even a 5 up save. I really don't use Guardians.
4 up.
Well,
'Cause,
so
weren't the Dire Avengers a 3 up?
yes, I do believe the Dire Avengers are better in that regard. But
And wasn't their ballistic skill just a hair better too?
I think they're all shooting on 3s.
Okay.
I think they're all hitting on 3s. They're all wounding on 4s, with the 6s being rending, or what rending used to be. So, but Dire Avengers are, I think, a little bit better of a pick.
Okay.
I think the bikes are coming back. I think you couldn't go wrong with Shining Spears or just regular bikes. A whole bike list to supplement your big vehicles, I think would be great. Because your what's the weapon profile on that big thing you're working on right now?
On the links, it
Yeah.
was. I put the. It used to be the huge template cannon on it, but now it's. Here, let me pull it up real quick so I'm not totally misquoting. But
You're good.
it's I think 4d6 shots, 7 or no, it's infantry on 2 and vehicles on 4 with I think neg 3.
Okay, so that's not bad. I mean, 46 shots. That would be insane if they errated that to have blast.
Oh yeah.
Because that's like, oh, you have your 30-man squad of boys. Well, that's 24 hit. That's 24 shots. Like,
Yep.
hitting on 3s, hitting on 2s.
Mm-hmm. I forgot. And the Shadow Specters.
Oh yeah, I've got a single squad of Shadow Specters, and I think that they're gonna get hit bad by 9th edition.
I don't know. That again. That's another. Gotta wait and see, because that last FAQ on him, that it didn't hit him. It straight knocked him out.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
rough.
to take a. I think they were already like 33 points apiece, and their weapons were free at 33 points, and to make their weapons like an extra 15 points,
It was rough.
you're cutting, and I think it's a 3-man minimum squad anyway. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand the reason they did it, because they. Actually, no, I take that back. I don't understand the reason they did it, because I never saw anyone use them in a tournament.
Yeah.
And I mean,
haven't
you
seen
and
them
I
either.
get around to quite a few events, and I never saw I think you and I are the only ones that own them that I know of.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just you and me, yeah, that I know of in the area.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody who shall not be named owns them, but he's already got a shipping container full of stuff.
Oh, yeah. But yeah. Um, so is there any like art projects you're working on hobby wise for 40K?
Um, Not really at the moment. I've got my one Leviathan Dreadnought that I had done some fine pinstriping and fine line work on, and I was looking at it the other day. Arm had fell off, so I was repairing it, and I just kind of looked at it. That looks like trash, and blacked it back out. I'm gonna hit it again sometime before too long and make it look slightly more appeasable to me. So
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I've actually due to ninth edition coming up. I've been working on some Age of Sigmar stuff because it's not.
hmm
I have been sending you some pictures,
yeah, yeah.
like, but I haven't thrown this up on camera yet. I have some like lanterns, and I have the wood, and then there's a little bit of dry brushing on the roof, but it's not quite done yet. I'm gonna shingle it out,
hmm
and that's the base with the cherry blossom tree. I'm gonna make that bamboo shoots out in the front,
Okay.
and then that is the base for this guy is gonna sit.
Oh, that is sick.
So if I can get him to not be a
Yeah, not be
giant
a big blob.
white blob, does that
There you
fits?
go.
But yeah,
That's
he's got a little Raiden hat, rice hat, a little like the Japanese kind of like iconography in the back, and then samurai plates, and then he's got the dragon, which is I need to fix some of the dry brushing is a little heavy right now, and the dragon has that mouth bridle piece. I'm gonna get some actual
hmm
chain to work into that bridle to attach to the dude's arm. He's got like a handle.
okay.
That's not the best, but is what it is. That's what I'm currently, when I'm dicking around, I've got an extra 15-20 minutes here, 15-20 minutes there. That's kind of where I'm putting it into those
Yeah.
guys.
I anymore if I don't have more than an hour, I don't sit down because
Uh,
I mean I've got all the edge highlighting on all the Eldar vehicles I'm working on. Ugh. I think I've got one of them about 3/4 done right now, and I've got 2.5 hours into it.
so, wait, so personally, edge highlighting is
hmm
one of the hardest things I have to do. I've I can't seem to get the little twitches out of my arm. I can't
Yep.
seem to like. How do you do it? Because your edges seem so well done sometimes that like. Do you have a trick to it? Do you have like a methodology of how you do your edge highlighting?
best best way I've done so far is just this long, skinny pinstripers brush.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I use this brush more than any of the other ones I've got probably, just because I've gotten used to how the length of the bristles react. And with that, it's not so much. It turns the edge highlighting more into a dry brush. So I'm just contacting one point and just dragging down the line.
Gotcha. And is your contact point the tip of the brush or the side of the brush?
The side.
Gotcha. Sometimes I see that is beneficial to me, but then sometimes I get like big globs. Like it's not
Yep.
like a
And it's all part of the game. I mean, let's see. I've got let's see. Let me see if I can make this not look like total dookie here. But like this one, you can see how it's kind of. I can't really get good light on it, but
It
you can
was good
see
for a
how
minute
it's
there. Yeah.
kind of edge highlighted in gold there.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you look at it, there's spots on it where the highlighting's really, like you said, really not blobby, but heavier in areas. That's all part of the game. I mean, overall, you want to try and keep it consistent, and that's the best way to do it, but you just got to roll with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. Like,
And the best trick I've found, I've got, oh, where is it? There it is. There's one of them. I've got this larger round brush that with a shorter bristle on it. I will wet that down. I use window clean solvent.
gotcha. So like
And
Windex, essentially.
yep, yes, thank you.
You're good.
Works. I use that on that brush just as kind of an eraser, but you got to brush lightly or you'll take the layer of paint off underneath it. But I just kind of use that as an eraser if I am really unhappy with something.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm having a little bit of an issue on, and we do have a couple minutes to talk about, is do you have any tips for weathering? Or I'm struggling mostly because I built this thing out of like popsicle sticks and pink foam, and I know
so
how to
every 40Kers normal build procedure.
yeah, and I would know how to weather a resin or plastic model, or at least I'd have techniques I'd know how to try, but like I can't salt pink foam. I can't like stipple with a. I guess I still could with a, but it just doesn't seem to stick in the same way, like stippling with a little sponge or whatever.
I would say go with a. Actually, I would probably point you at like the really, really cheap, like elementary school nylon paint brushes. I would try that and just like dab it, kind of like you're filling in a stencil or something.
Okay.
And just kind of tap around on it where you're wanting to stipple it. Other than that, my favorite go-to is Nuln Oil and an airbrush when I want to weather something.
So how does Nuln Oil actually behave differently when applied with an airbrush than it does when
it's brushed on?
Yeah, because I do a lot of brushing, but I don't.
Yeah, it gives more. Depending on how comfortable you are with an airbrush, it's very much use as little air as possible, keep your pressure as low as possible, and keep your flow as low as possible, and just hit it, and just it looks like you're like mud will splatter on a car.
Gotcha.
How you're going down the first mile of a muddy road, there's just a little bit, second mile a little bit more, and it's just adding multiple coats until you're happy with it.
Okay, yeah, I can do it.
It's almost, I don't know, it's almost just changing the shade of the paint that you're spraying it on more than actually adding the Nuln Oil.
Okay, I can see that, because like I'm gonna have a little bit of an issue too, like if you look at like the fence, there's like little chain link. I don't have like a white thing like you do to stop it and see if it'll focus on.
Yeah, it's a little better. Not really.
But yeah, the little chain link fence I have, or like the bamboo stuff in the back. Like it's just, there's a lot I want to weather.
Yeah.
And it's that, or like like I have tried to put. It's not gonna come in. You'll see it in person though. I tried to do like little Asian calligraphy and detailing on the lanterns and stuff, and I can't. I'm not happy with it. I'm gonna probably take them off and try again. Do something a little differently.
That's you remember that orc buggy I did 2, 3, maybe 5 years ago now.
Was that the one that we did for like a Gorka Morka campaign, and it was the like kind of rusted brown orange one?
That I did all the pinstriping on.
Yeah.
That one, and I'm still kicking myself for selling that model. Never, when you become happy with a model, never sell it ever. That model, I am still sorry I sold. I got to beat the guy up that I sold it to get it back from him. Not physically, just like call him and pressure him into selling it to me, probably at 5 times what I sold it to him for. But like that one, that was a lot of doing the pinstriping and nope, don't like it, wipe it back off, do it again. And it was just practice. Because, I mean, every time I redrew the line, it looked a little better. And finally, after 6 hours of sitting there trying to pinstripe one Ed Roth design on the side of the door, I finally got it to where it kind of looked like it, but I was happy with it. So
good, yeah. And I guess orcs are a little more forgiving from a perspective of an orc is not going to do it super pretty. And same kind of thing with ogres. Like maybe I shouldn't care so much about the ogre being able to paint those designs 100% spot on right, you know.
So, what else? Working on anything else for that army?
Yeah, I mean, I've got mini versions of those dragons. So like, that dragon's like the size of the big mount, and I've got like miniature versions of them that are going to be the Mournfang. So they'll have the smaller mounts, like the individual, like the ones riding like cows, essentially. And then I'm going to, or I have them right behind me. So those ogres have like a saber tusk cat. They come in units of 30, and I got these. They are the like old Asian. There you are, like the dogs, the like dragon dogs.
Yeah, I can't remember what they called them, Griffin something or others.
Yeah, they've got like a very Oriental Asian feel to them. If my camera would focus on that, but either way, so they're about the same scale, and I just realized now that they come with the bottom half of a rider that I'm going to have to.
That will not fit your needs.
Yeah, I mean, all that means is I'm gonna have to do some scraping and green stuffing.
Well, if you want a hand, I can swing by with my Dremel. I've gotten pretty adept with that. So
yeah, I would love to, especially since I've got to do 60 of them. So
just you buy the beer.
Yeah, like I have them all here. I just haven't opened them up because in my mind I'm going to get done with the big dragon, I'll get done with the small dragons, I'll get done with the dogs. Yeah. Because for the Adepticon army, I thought you need 4 different armies, 4,000 point armies. And right now the big dragon and 8 small dragons is one 1,000 point army. 60 of those dogs and then 2 leaders is another 1,000 points. The leaders, I think I'm going to do like, I don't know, some samurais or ninjas or I don't know,
Something.
something cool. I think it'd be cool getting some ogre models from GW and then samurai them up. And
Yeah.
then the two other lists, one may be they have some ogres with these big cannons. I'm thinking
Hmm.
about making them like dragon firework
Okay.
shooters.
Yeah.
And then
Get a couple of Gandalf's bottle rocket. And...
yeah, very similar to that. And then the fire bellies. So they're already kind
Okay.
of Asian themed in dress, but I'll get like them blowing dragon smoke or fire coming out.
Okay.
We'll
So the overactive vapors.
yeah, we'll see. It's also that the display board that's the big dragon skull
Okay.
that'll open up. I don't know, maybe it'll be better, maybe worse. I don't know. It's definitely a project of love right now that's moving pretty slow, but slowly but surely
Well,
getting somewhere.
yeah. Sometimes those are the best ones.
Yeah. So I think we've touched on everything we need to touch on today for this show.
Okay.
And just to wrap things up, if you're currently watching this on a VOD or you're watching us right now, we appreciate you. If you're watching this on the YouTube, we also appreciate you. But if you'd like to interact with us, kind of like Nurgle Matt or I'm Fat Lad did during the show, feel free to join us on our schedule. This is Lore Linguist, which is every Friday at around 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Or EST, right? That's where
Yeah.
we are. Brain. I worked a whole full day today, so brain's not working so well.
That's a new one.
We also have Competitive Corner, which touches more on the competitive aspects of Warhammer 40k. That is on Mondays at around 4:30, the same time. And then there's Hobby Time, which is everything. We don't shy away from any 40k topics, from display boards to setting up your painting bench to good army lists to new rules to everything in Hobby Time. And we have a lot of our special guests from the community will show up on those. That is a Saturday show at about 1 p.m. EST. All of our schedule and times, if anything changes or anything is future scheduled, it'll be on our Twitch page at twitch.tv, the Team Bad Decisions. And then our website is www.teambaddecisions.com. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to drop a like, comment stuff that you'd like to see, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you're wanting to watch us on Twitch, we'd love to have you and love to talk to you. But until then, I want to thank Ryan for being awesome and being on the show with me today. And we'll just peace out. Unless, Ryan, do you have anything that you'd like to say? Anything coming up with you? Anything you want to shout out?
Not particularly. Just happy to be here, happy to be in the community, and happy to be able to be here.
All right, cool. Well, stay safe, guys, out there, and feel free to make some bad decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. You're turned down, so